Jesus. Okay. But it does, it might do not very good, crap and stuff. But it does in full revenge, it might do not very good. Ruan iruki akrisa vinkachev moon. And now in Saisneg, and now in English, good morning, my strange people. I'm Ruan, and welcome to my spooky home. And I didn't get around to dishes earlier. Well, I did some last night, but then I didn't do more this morning before I left to go do things like pick up the mail and pick up stuff I need to make cake. Gonna get caught up on some dishes real quick, and then pull together all the crap and stuff I need for cake. Cake is the only thing that matters. Okay, so the paddle for my ice cream churn. I'll put that with the top of my ice cream churn. And this goes with my cold press pot, which is somewhere up my ass. And around the corner, perhaps? I don't know. Okay, well, I'll put it here because this is the last place I remember seeing. Oh, that's right. Cold press is still in the fridge for some reason, even though I haven't had any for a while, which, you know, there's reasons. So I've got this, this one video that I meant to upload. I should edit and upload it. It's a couple weeks old now, so the whole idea of it being myself getting ready to go out to downtown Ann Arbor to Tenetco and see Cyclone 9, that is like no longer relevant by almost 4 weeks, I'd say. But chicken butt. But I don't know. I'll have to go see what the hell I was talking about in that one, but I do remember being fairly content with it as far as like what I was rambling on about nothing about. So yeah, I'll go take another look at it before I decide what to do about it. And so yeah, oh hey, the inner canister for my ice. Oh, I gotta get some Bon Ami. Do I have Bon Ami? I know I had Bon Ami before the old landlord gave me PTSD, but that's another story for another time. I don't want to talk about it. My friend Deneen, who sometimes shows up to the live streams, at least when I can get my shit together and do what? The thing with the stuff. Right, my radio program. Yeah, so when I can get my ass together and do that, she tunes in sometimes, regularly enough anyway. Yeah, she helped me with some of the moving nonsense, and she knows exactly what happened, and she's a good friend, so she knows not to go blabbing this bullshit to the entire, not to go blabbing my bullshit to the entire internet, so, and yeah, I like to extend the same courtesy to my friends, so it's like, since most of my videos, like even the, you know, pre-recorded, edited, and uploaded variety, I'm generally kind of off the cuff as far as stuff goes. Like, the only things I truly script out are my book reviews, which says something about me as an entertainer, right? It does. It says something about me as an entertainer, and I'm not sure what, but it does. So, Where was I going with this? Fuck if I know. But yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, like when I'm doing something a bit more off the cuff, like if I can think of a way to anonymize somebody, um, you know, or whatever, I will do that. But if I can't, then I'll kind of just not say much about it because, you know, yeah, a lot of my friends know that I'm a loudmouth with internet access since, like, the old-timey prehistory of social media out on Usenet. Well, I shouldn't say prehistory because, like, Usenet is all archived by, like, what is it? Like Google Groups now. But yeah, it's like, you know, ye old and ancient history of social media back on Usenet. Yeah, I've been a loudmouth with internet access for a long-ass time. Like, it took me a while to figure out my, you know, my Chris Chan experience. Like, it took me a couple years to realize that, and this was a couple years of, like, Best X, like, because I don't think he was ever, like, an active poster on something awful, or at least not especially so. He loved their old Photoshop Fridays and, you know, other stuff, but he would read the forums. He would read the forums because, you know, he thought people on there were entertaining at the time. And it took, like, a couple years since I'd been back from Charlottesville, and he'd regularly ask me, look, are you sure you don't remember this person? And I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I ran into a lot of people out there. You gotta remember, Scott. A lot of guys are named, but yeah, like, you gotta remember Best, you know, because, like I said, Best X. You know, Charlottesville, like, is kind of like Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti in a way, except, you know, like, it's all one city, right? But, you know, like, there's, like, the, you know, there's the richer side, there's the, you know, less financially stable side, and they kind of keep to themselves, and they kind of, like, keep separate without, you know, really thinking about it, because, sure, there's a huge university population at the, you know, because of the school there, and so, like, there's a lot of people who are just, like, in and out, and I'm like, you gotta remember, like, you know, that was, like, a couple of years ago at that point, so I'm not sure. And then I don't even remember what Chris Chan video it was, but it finally clicked with me. Oh, this is the person, because yeah, like, I know, like, you know, while I was just saying this in somebody else's YouTube comments, like, not even 5 whole minutes ago, that I tend to fall a bit more on the at least socially speaking, the quote-unquote gender radical side, wherein, like, I'm just like, look, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. There's nothing inherently wrong with letting kids and young adults playing around with, you know, their personal expression and gender identity, because, like, this is one of the ways that kids and even young adults, like, until your prefrontal cortex is fully developed, which usually hits around the age of 25, you know, much like, you know, the physical side of puberty. Yeah, there is some wiggle room in there, like, nobody, like, it's not an exact, you know, thing with the age there. Though it is estimated that people with neurodivergencies, you know, like the 3 main neurodivergent spectra, which is like ASD, like Chris Chan, you know, who is a bit less functioning than, like, Chris Chan is high-functioning autistic, as they, you know, proudly proclaim, by 1980s standards, wherein, like, high-functioning autistic was comparable to the, you know, depiction of the titular Rain Man, which is such a good movie. It is. It's such a good movie. Like, I know it's one of those things where, like, a lot of people on that spectrum are just like, oh, I really wish, like, an actor who, you know, had the who was on the spectrum could have, played him instead. But then I see a lot of others who are just like, well, yeah, ideally we could have gotten an actor on that spectrum, but, like, it's still a good movie, and for certain areas of ASD, for like certain subgroups within it, it's fairly, and then there are people who just like hate it because like it's just like with everything else where it's technically a community of some sorts, but like you ask 5 people what their opinion on something is, you'll get 10 different answers, right? Like this is a common thing said amongst pagans. Ask 5 pagans what paganism is, and you'll get at least 10 different answers, right? So anyway, but yeah, like ASD, so, like think Chris Chang, think Rain Man, think Dorian of Herbs and Altars on YouTube, think Rachel Oates. There's a couple other people. I know Jimmy Snow has been leaning on that a lot lately to kind of try and excuse his crap behavior, or at least that's how it seems to a lot of people, but that is mostly kind of like, I don't know. I was on the subreddit that people had created to discuss all of the ways in which Mr. Jimmy Snow has been problematic last year, and they're just like, we've said all that can be said. We'll leave the, I think they left it up in archive form, but they've kind of like closed it to new posts, so, but where was I going with this? Right, oh yeah, so it's like, oh right, the prefrontal cortex, which is like, which is the part of the brain that is associated with emotional regulation, with impulse control, etc. That isn't like fully physically developed until for the average relatively neurotypical person is usually in the area of 25 years old. But for the average, but for like a lot of neurodivergent people, that can, they say add between like, depending on the person and depending on the neurodivergence, and like the 3 main neurodivergent spectra would be, like I said, ASD, and then there's ADHD like myself, like the young woman who does How to ADHD, like my best friend from kindergarten, who I think I shall now refer to as Kinder Bestie. She and I recently started talking again. Actually, it was a few months. No, this was like back around like September or October of 2021. I don't think I said much about it on YouTube at the time, but turns out she's also got ADHD. So yeah, Kinder Bestie's also got ADHD, and a very similar household to the one I grew up in some ways, and but that's of course, okay. This is what I get for only having one saucepan and a massive macaroni and cheese bender this last few weeks. But I've kind of curbed that a little bit this last few days anyway, because Friday is my birthday. I am having another 42nd birthday party. Now, the party at my place, oh right, other neurodivergent spectrum would be schizoaffective. So like think, as I explained it to my aunt, who I've been trying to get a hold of all day, but a family friend and I have decided that my aunt does not hear her phone as well as she thinks she does. But that's neither here nor there. Where was I? Oh yeah, she's also got ADHD. But yeah, so as I explained to my aunt, because my older sister on my dad's side the mother of my niece, who I'm going to be seeing a week from tomorrow, right? So I'm going to be seeing her a week from tomorrow because family friend with whom she's in the custody of. Um, they're going to be out of town seeing family that weekend. So where was I going? Right. Oh yeah, schizoaffective. So I explained. So yeah, like I said, my niece's mother, my sister who died last year, she was on the schizoaffective spectrum. Though when she was diagnosed at age 14, I want to say that was 1988, they called it manic depression because it was the 80s. Manic depression with borderline schizophrenia, right? But, you know, like this kind of thing has become common enough that neurologists and psychiatrists and all that have realized that bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, you know, or at least what's now recognized as schizophrenia, because like we're talking like decades ago, like around the time of my, you know, father's birth, and you know through him hopping the freights through the 60s after becoming a widower at 19 years old. But anyway, like, you know, it used to be kind of like a catch-all term for, okay, there's something up with your brain, but we're not sure what yet. So schizophrenia it is. So yeah, like in the last 25, 30 years, like schizophrenia has come to have a more distinct definition, right? So like think bipolar disorder on one end, schizophrenia on the other, and a lot of people are in between there. So one of my best friends, she's this would be Susie Bika, my friend, the Canadian comic, you know, artist and all that. She's fairly open about having schizoaffective disorder, and she's probably somewhere like right in between, right? Then there's another friend of mine who's a bit closer here, and then there's my neighbor. There's my neighbor in like another, you know, house on the same street. He's probably a bit over here, right? On a bit more on the schizophrenia end. Great guy. But he's a bit of a character. We'll put it that way. He's also inherited like a house that's been in his family for over 100 years, and through that a couple other properties. Unfortunately he doesn't have any vacancies, but that's another thing. Like, I don't care to talk about that, but that's whatever. Okay, right. So like, and then like, then there was my sister, my niece's mom. So like I said, bipolar over here, schizophrenia over here. My sister was probably a bit closer to here, right? So like she clearly had some, you know, low-key schizophrenia symptoms, but they could be kept in check for the most part. But at the same time, at the time she died, she had not been on any antipsychotic sort of meds for almost 10 years. So I understand why she may not have wanted to be on those whilst pregnant and all of that, but at the same time, like, I almost want to find her old psychiatrist and see if there's any like state precedent in the legal system for wrongful death or something, because, you know, like if they'd had her on something that, you know, could have controlled her episodes a bit more, I 100% believe she would have been alive. And she and I were very excited about, like, she was talking about like moving herself and her mom, who's like the sweetest. My sister mama is like, she just turned 86 this year. No, or is it 87? I forget which way her birthday goes. I know an easy way to remember her birthday is, it's got the numbers 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 in them. I know it's May in the 30s. So 2, 4, 5. So May, not flipping you off. May in the 1930s. No, wait. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait, yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, yeah. May in the 1930s. The other three numbers. Right. So, yeah, like the other three numbers. But, yeah, like she's like 86 or 87 now, and sweetest woman in the world. Where was I going with this? Fuck if I know. I had a point, and then, as one of my other longtime friends has said of me, my train of thought doesn't just derail, it ends up, like, with people, like, survivors are running around on fire in the destruction. There's a lot of screaming. There's probably a moose involved. I say, you are totally on with that. Let's see. Now, because I'm a moron, like, my mother had me tested when I was a kid. She used to boast to anybody who would stand around and look long enough and listen to her that I allegedly have an IQ of 157. And look at all I've done with it. Like, seriously, for somebody who can, do the logic puzzles that comprise the Stanford Binet children's test, I remember it mostly being logic puzzles, so I don't know. I like to argue with people who say that it's, like, culturally biased. I'm like, yeah, maybe the adult test is, but they have a test for children under the age of, like, 9. And it does, like, when the same kids take the adult test, it's only, like, within 10 points later in life, like, either up or down, so, yeah, it's fairly consistent, right? So, yeah, like I said, like, maybe the adult test has some cultural biases to it, but if you're, like, under the age of 9, I'm not saying you haven't somehow internalized certain things about your culture, but this is, like I said, it's for children who are below the age of 9, so, like, they're not going to be especially savvy about the cultural whatnots they've absorbed, I suppose, and it's like, I don't know. But yeah, like, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure the adult test is, I'm sure the adult test has cultural biases all over it, but the children's test, like I said, I remember it mostly being logic puzzles. Some of it I didn't even, maybe half of it I didn't even have to read for, right? So, where was I going? I don't know, but, I have an issue. When I see plants at the Kroger that, like, this one, like, you can clearly see, like, a bunch of the bits have fallen off the succulent. And it's like, oh yeah, like, this one is kind of, like, broken in half. I saw it, like, on the floor. I kind of feel sorry for plants, right? So, anyway. Alright. I am not the best at picking shit up, but I am pretty damn... Okay, so I am pretty damn good with the sale, so let's... Seriously? Okay. So, I was actually I also, like, swung by Michael's for new, cupcake papers, instead of these, but they're kind of bland there. I kind of get why that might be in some way, but I thought they'd have, like, a few of the more exciting patterns, so I found these. These were, like, on clearance, like, 67 cents each package, so, Phoebe, you cannot has succulent. Or the, this one's called a crown of thorns. Cannot has... Okay. So let's see, I got stuff from Humana. Uh-oh. I kicked the chicken. I thought at first Murnau was going to love this best, but Nigel loves it best. And what surprised me about that is that Nigel usually has a preference for pink toys. I think it may have to do a little bit with his vision. Cats can see some colors better than others, and I think Best X's cat Chunk might have some vision problems based on like the way she'll like bob and weave her head around when she's watching like a toy being like whipped or like thrown around, right? But yeah, Nigel seems to has a preference for pink toys, but he really loves this chicken. It is one of the more annoying things I've gotten for the cats, and I got this with the express purpose of hoping that Murnau would like be flinging this around like while dipshit roommate is trying to sleep, right? Because they're on a more regular schedule than I am. But Nigel loves this. This is now one of Nigel's favorite things in the world. Nigel, bye. See, it's got an elastic here. Oh, Murnau came for it. He does like it, fine. It's just Nigel really likes it. It is one of Nigel's new favorite things. Nigel loves the chicken, and and it makes me think of that what's it called? Mystery Science Theater sketch where Tom says, I'm just gonna be over here with my chicken puppet, and it was something about like time skips or something, and all that. So let's see. German chocolate cake recipe. Fun fact about German chocolate cake is it is not based on any kind of like German or Swiss, German-speaking Swiss chocolate traditions, because like the Swiss are very famous for the way they mix chocolate, right? So where was I going? Right. Up my ass and around the corner, and all of this is shit I can sweep up with a broom later. Don't you judge me. I know what I'm doing. So yeah, it's based on a recipe, on a chocolate recipe that, shit. I forget his full name, but the last name was German, or at least that's how it ended up in the States. Like, it's very much an American thing. So yeah, like, he had created this, relatively unique blend of baking chocolate, right? So, but yeah, the confectionery company that he worked for at the time also had recently developed coconut pecan frosting, right? And and so German chocolate cake was specifically like, a recipe pitched as a vehicle for coconut pecan icing made by the confectionery company that the like originator of the Germans, as in possessive, baking chocolate, created, right? So yeah, it's not a thing. So I kind of had some egg on my face when I was a kid. My mother sent me to this kind of like after school and weekends program for gifted kids. It was like yeah, like it was like a school day like once every weekend, and there were also like after school activities as well, but a lot of times I would either go to voice or dance, right? So yeah, and we had this like every grade like would like have like a very incredibly basic like so in fourth grade it was like children's intro to German, right? Or English speaking children's intro to German, right? And like at the end of the year we were having a party and we were all going to bring something from like culture of nation, that language, right? And my mother and I made German chocolate cake, and then we were then we were told when we arrived that, you know, it was a lovely cake, of course, but here's the story: it's actually an American thing, and the creator of the baking chocolate recipe. His last name was German. He was likely of German descent, origin, whatever. So, you know, like they didn't rip, like the teachers didn't lay into us too hard, because, you know, like my mother's parents were from Cornwall, so right. Anyway, so let's see. I went to the store today, so let's see. And I wrote down the recipe because I don't have a printer at all anymore, and I don't feel like bringing out my laptop with the webcam and all of that to do the thing from the phone. So whatever, right? But I'm definitely not going to do this in my room for a number of reasons. So let's see, 4 ounces of baker's chocolate. Now, this is not going to be a... So... So let's see, the company, Baker's Premium, you know, baking chocolate bar, right? So, since 1780, they do a German's chocolate, and it says, you know, German's apostrophe, so possessive, you know, as in the guy's recipe, right? They do a version of that they make and sell, since I guess they bought or merged with the company he'd previously been with. Maybe it was the same company. Fuck if I know. But yeah, that one has soya in it, so I cannot has. So I got their unsweetened 100% cacao baking bar. Let's see. But it's still going to be a vehicle for my coconut pecan frosting, right? Because that's what I do every year. So, like I said, it started when I was about 8 years... No, wait, this was 3rd grade, not 4th. Okay, yeah, my German class. So, yeah, like, I really loved the cake that we brought to the, you know, like, end of the school year thing that we did, at, was it BGSU or something? I don't know. A lot of stuff, whatever, it happens. But yeah, so I liked it enough that I was just like, I want this for my birthday cake every year now, Mom, right? So, so yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I do German chocolate cake for my birthday, and have almost every year since I was 8 years old. So let's see, you've got the chocolate. You need half a cup of boiling water. Let's see. That would necessitate me probably getting the kettle going. Okay, that's in there. Everything can go in there. And I know where my tape dispenser is, and now I've got tape. Okay. New loaf of bread can go on the Doc Martens box that I keep my tools in, because it's right underneath the thing, the bread shelf. And I apparently already had bread, and I want to copy that recipe. And the reason I haven't yet is because a lot of my otherwise free time has been soaked up making a thingy, a blouse for Nathan Va. And because you do not wash the cast iron with soap and water, you don't. You scrub it with a paste of salt when needed, and Every couple of years, you re-season. I re-season my cast iron with lard. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. No, it's because I don't want to use good... It's because I don't want to use my good butter on my... on what's basically a chore. And I don't like messing with liquid oils, and I've seen some people recommend re-seasoning their cast iron with like Crisco or other shortening brands, but I can't have those because soy. So I re-season my cast iron with lard. And yes, I'm some kind of weirdo who eats his bell peppers like this. Don't judge me. Oh right, I gotta preheat this shit. Sorry, cast iron. I shall place thee here. Because I've still got my puzzle on the table behind me, so, like, don't judge me, like I said. Where was I going with it? Oh, right, the thing. 350 Fahrenheit. Okay. Hey, it started there. All right, set that to preheat. Cup of butter softened. Now. All right. I do have... Ah, son of a bitch. Oh, sweet. It landed, it landed on the wrapper side, because if it landed on the seam, then... Wait. Is that 1 cup or half a cup? Son of a bitch. Okay, 4 tablespoons. Oh, this is a half a cup. Son of a bitch! Okay. So... yes, I keep my butter in the freezer. Let's turn this around a little bit as I go. So I do keep my butter in the freezer. I only had the 1 stick, which is apparently only half a cup. I don't know how I forget this every year. But I do. I do forget it somewhere in the area of every fucking year. Because why? Because, I don't know, like I said, for somebody whose mother had him tested and was said to have a 157 IQ, I'm a fucking dumbass. Okay. Something, 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 something. Ha. Okay, here's my recipe for coconut pecan frosting. I also did, like, slash pie filling in part because, I have used it to make German chocolate brownies. One of these days I probably will, like, maybe do a live of that recipe, but I'm going to worry about this in a bit. But I just wanted to have it out here with me because I'm realizing how wonderfully organized I am. So let's see. Okay, I've got my, you know what, I'm going to put this other one back under the butter dish. It's the, thankfully this was saved in the move. I don't know how many tablespoons is left in this thing, but, so I'm not gonna fuck with that, because, so this was saved in the move. This was one of the first things moved over. So I've still got my butter dish that I got for my birthday 2019, I believe, from, I think it was Karen, who's, on here as Curious Cat 1920. She shows up in the chats a lot. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, I do still have the butter dish. Unfortunately, Nigel's bicycle basket, I couldn't find that. Like, even when I was, like, making a couple of my friends, like, very annoyed, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it at all. So, so that's why that's back on my wish list for this year's birthday. Yes, you, sweet boy. Mm-hmm. I've been trying to retrain him because we were sort of getting somewhere before all hell broke loose in 2020. And so and then, like, you know, my mental health took a nosedive into the deep end without a life vest. I mean, thankfully I'm, like, treading water right now. I wasn't looking so good for a bit. I kind of forgot how to tread water for a couple of years. Whatever that was about. So, yeah, like, we're kind of back to square one with Nigel because he's very stubborn. So, yeah, what was I saying? Right. So, yeah, I do need to, so I am getting him reacclimated to the harness. I think I'm doing a little bit better this time, but I'm doing it a bit more slowly. Okay, butter, that's where I was at. Granulated sugar. Now, I decided because, so I'm saving a few cupcakes for when Nathan Vach and I get to meet up next week with family friend who is, like, you know, custodial guardian. I was gonna, like, give a cupcake for Neith to take to my sister mama. So I'm gonna be trying this recipe from scratch with stevia and the raw this year. It does say that, like, volume, you know, is gonna be equal to sugar. So they've allegedly worked this well enough. Now, because of the way that that you basically have to make a custard to do the frosting, like it starts with a custard base, like a good hearty egg and milk custard, right? So because it needs to start from a custard base, I'm not sure if I necessarily trust Stevie and the Raw to be able to do that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to trust Stevie and the Raw to be able to do that. So the where was I saying? So that's going to be with, like, my granulated sugar, which is over there. But I'm not fucking around with the frosting right now. 1 teaspoon baking soda. Okay. Moment of truth. Do I have baking soda in here? It would be really, really nice if I did. So let's see. Let's move some shit around. Let's see. Oh, hey, I do have baking soda. Okay. Okay, I got this from the open air neighborhood food pantry that's, like, around, you know, down the block and around the corner from me. I couldn't remember if I did or not, so I got another thing of baking soda, just in case. Shush, oven. And so like I said, I got another one just in case, so I get to return that tomorrow. Get a whole, like, what, like $1.67 or whatever put back onto my EBT card. So, because the electricity in here is really funky, I'm going to duck into the front room for a moment and turn off the lights and the TV, because I think I only paused the thing. So I'm going to turn off the lights, the TV, and the ceiling fan so I can turn on the air conditioner. And hopefully this thing will be going off every 20 minutes. God damn it! Okay, something blew. Some kind of fuse blew. I'm gonna be back. Okay, yeah, everything is off. Because, like, I thought the TV was only paused because the little standby light wasn't on. I need to go, you know what? Okay. How much power do Okay, we're at 48% power. So, this is what I gotta do. Like, oh, son of a bitch. Okay, where's my other crock? These things are ugly as shit, but when I was on a bit of a gardening bender, alright, so let's see, because of this, okay. Oh, excuse me, Nigel. Okay, so, what was I saying? Let's just turn that off right now. Okay. Yeah, I was on a gardening bender one of the years I was living with Best X, so so Best X got me, what's it called? I want to know which neighbor brings packages for number 4 inside, because like the neighbor in unit 4 has little reason to open the door at the front, because their door is over here. So let's see. Packages!
Hi.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, not too bad.
Alright, cool. You too.
Take care.
You too.
Thank you. No problem. I don't know who keeps bringing them in the front door, because there's little reason for you guys to go to the front. Oh my gosh. Hello? Are we coming to say hi again? Well, hello. You remember meeting me? Like maybe a month ago? Oh, you're so pretty.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Take care.
You too.
There's this gorgeous, gorgeous orange cat. That my neighbor at the number 4 serves, so he's so beautiful. But like, I understand the concept of bringing them inside in case of other people in the neighborhood who like to steal packages, but at the same time, Unit 4 in the house typically has little reason to come through the front door. And okay, so let's see. We've got this on fan, and let's turn the TV off. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, I've got water boiling. Let's turn it down a scooch, just so that it doesn't all evaporate out. I mean, I've got a top on the kettle, so it'll take a while to do that, but let's see. If the freezer butter's starting to soften, that would be nice. Okay, got my sugar for the cake. Got my baking soda, got my can of table salt, because, I don't know, I'm not hoity-toity enough to, like, have an especially fancy salt for baking. Right, buttermilk. Now, I grossly misplaced, well, actually, like, I lost my mother's recipe for chocolate cake long time ago. Some years, I admit, I would use a mix, but a lot of time, I would just like do whatever recipe I could find that looked like I could follow it like a human being. Now, whatever. I was looking for my fucking Doritos because I like to treat myself to a sugary soda maybe a couple times a week. Okay. So, I looked up the, if you've seen my Instagram, one of the ways I like to entertain myself with a search engine is by just like, entering in like dumb questions, right? So, I knew it would come up with like more reasonable answers. So I looked, anyway, just because algorithms and AI and shit. So like, I like to formulate my questions just like kind of stupidly, right? And, so I was like, what's the, I did post this to Instagram. What's the difference between cultured buttermilk and proletariat buttermilk? You know, as in cultured, as in like, high class, right? So yeah, it said the primary difference is that, quote unquote, fresh buttermilk, as in like the stuff without added cultures, I believe. I think that's, like the difference as far as like the thing. I think it said like, I think it's the cultured buttermilk that is at a lower viscosity or something, and it said fresh buttermilk, like, that's just what it's called when it's not the culture rated whatever. That blends into eggs more easily, and because of the way the recipe is written, oh shit, there was a part 2 on this that I left in the front. Okay. My sweet boy. That's sweet boy. Nigel. You want your chicken? You want your chicken? When he was a kitten, his favorite toy was, well, aside from the little kitten chew toys, which he still loves. He's 10 years old and he still loves those, I think it's Orocat that makes them, and they call it the wiggle worm. It's like a little, silicone worm that's got like zigzag, as it's got some nubs on it that will like help stimulate like teething kittens and all of that. But yeah, he still loves those. He's 10 years old and he freaking loves them. He's like the equivalent of like a human in his 50s at this age. Like equivalent to a human is like late 40s through mid to late 50s thereabouts. There's a pet age calculator, because the old adage of like, oh, well, every year to a human is like 7 years to a dog. I'm like, that's not really true, right? First off, it depends on the breed. Secondly, it's like, that would be like saying, well, okay, when a human is 7 years old, they are able to have babies. Because, like, a dog is considered at least physically mature enough for, safe breeding at about a year old. I mean, yeah, some breeders will go a little bit younger, or some breeders will wait until they're at least a year and a half old, just, for a lot hardier, healthier dog, because of the way the hormones and everything. Like, Phoebe's estimated to be about the same age Nigel is, but I sometimes question that, because, first off, they do that a lot based on a cat's weight, because, like, for the most part, cats, unlike dogs, have a relatively standard size. Like, it doesn't fluctuate as much as a dog would by breed, right? So, when Phoebe was found by her old rescue people, she was pregnant. The litter was stillborn. So yeah, she could have been as young as 6 months old, like, which, was her, like, postpartum weight. Or she could have been a little bit older. We're not sure. Based on the fact that it was very easy to get her used to living with people. Like, you know, she either wasn't born feral or she was, you know, just young enough and had become acclimated to, like, humans in the colony enough that she got really well adjusted to living indoors. But, yeah, whatever. So, I question exactly how old Phoebe is, but, like I said, like, based on rough estimates that the rescue people did, she and Nigel are coincidentally just about the same age. But a lot of the times they will act like litter mates because of when Mr. Midnight passed away. Okay. Sugar, vanilla, evaporated milk, egg yolk. Okay. So where was I going with this? Oh, right. Eggs. So... So yeah, I've got some older eggs that I'm going to make into a delicious frittata sometime this weekend. But I got these from the Ypsilanti Farmers Market. They are a greenish bluish. They're fresh from the cloaca. So let's see. Butter. Okay. So, okay. These are going to be separated. We also need vanilla extract. The recipe says all-purpose flour. I, on the other hand, still feel joy in life. So, okay. I also already had vanilla. So, let's see. I, on the other hand, feel joy in life. So, I use cake flour. And I already have it. Pasta. This is another thing of baking powder. What in the shit? Oh wait, no, baking powder. That's different from baking soda. Never mind. Ah! Don't leave me spaghetti! Okay. Baking powder. Okay, I did have cake flour. What the shit is with me today? Okay, so like I said, because I feel joy in life, I use cake flour. And let's see. So, using Swan's Down cake flour. Cake flour in place of AP, or all-purpose. For each cup of all-purpose flour in a recipe, you may substitute 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of Swan Down cake flour. Swan's Down cake flour can be used in recipes for all kinds of cakes, cupcakes, muffins, biscuits, shortcakes, and coffee cakes, as well as cookies, brownies, pancakes, and waffles. Using, oh god, oh right, it was the antique waffle stream or something, whatever. That's the title in my video archive, whatever. I go on about using cake flour to make waffles and how I'm pretty sure this is why Downy Flake waffles. You can find commercials for Downy Flake waffles on YouTube. The only reason, I swear to God, the only reason that Downy Flake waffles are no more is because Eggo waffles had that kicky Lego my Eggo slogan, and like I was yeah, like one time like they were doing like this little like taste test in the grocery store, and they would like take volunteers, and so yeah, I don't know if a clip with myself from one of those ended up in a commercial, either myself or one of my sisters. I don't think that ever happened, though they did have like video there to like, and I guess they selected like the best clips for commercials, so maybe I was just a very unphotogenic kid, because frankly I don't remember myself in one of those commercials, but I do remember like being in some kind of like taste test, and yeah, like most kids did indeed prefer Downy Flake waffles over Eggo, and I figured it out. They used goddamn cake flour in their recipe. So yeah, if you want like truly good waffles, don't listen to like whatever, like whoever it is that owns the Eggo property. They are trash. They're gonna like tell you lies. Just like, trust me, like no. Use cake flour in your waffles. Don't buy store-bought waffles if you can get away with it. Like, I guess frozen waffles are fine if you're like, if you've got like some kind of disability that's affecting the way you use your hands and all that. Like, that's acceptable, of course. You know, like there's a reason that these exist. There's a reason these things have come to exist, and it's because, you know, like, some people are just a little bit less capable of having fresh, delicious, homemade waffles. And then, of course, there are people who are just plain lazy. And if you care about joy in life, do not be lazy with your waffles if you can at all avoid it, right? Like, don't, like, if you don't have to have frozen waffles, don't. Like, if you are capable of doing basic things in life, I repeat, do not make frozen waffles. Plus my toaster, antique, I think it's a GE 1926 or something was the patent number on there, which doesn't really mean much in terms of antiques, but you know, it does give you a rough idea. So this could be like, it was made sometime between 1926 and 1936. It depends on like when they updated the patent or something. So okay, this says, okay, preheat oven, done that. Melt chocolate directly into boiling water and stir until melted. Set aside to cool. So we're gonna turn this around here, and so let's see. Okay, we've got the pan here now. Unfortunately, I have lost the lid to my double boiler. I don't know how I'm going to proceed from here. Either I'm going to like upcycle the double boiler as is into a planter, or I'm going to just get a new vintage double boiler, or I'm going to find a lid for the double boiler. And why am I looking at the cake flour box recipes? So let's see. Okay. So this one's half a cup of boiling water. So this is boiling, half a cup. Oh yeah, 4 ounces. Oh, you know what? Where's my scale? I put the scale hereabouts because I keep forgetting that this floor isn't level. Like, it's not as bad as my previous apartment was, but it's still enough that, okay, hey, this thing weighs about a pound. Sweet. Okay. Okay, we got 1.9 ounces, 3.4, 3.9, 4.2, 4.9. Sweet. All right. So sweet. Okay. Okay. That did help though. Like, you think of a better way to break up your goddamn baking chocolate. Okay. Whoa. Okay. I might have wanted to keep it at 4.2. So just like a little swittle there, okay? Because I definitely am sure like some of the vapor just like, all right. Now, because this is the 4 ounce, this is exactly the 4 ounces that it's asking for. You can read upside down, and here we go. Oh yeah! And so let's see. Lower. There we go. So, when you're doing stuff with candies, even chocolate, don't use a metal spoon. Like, even if it's chocolate, don't use a metal spoon. In fact, I probably should be using, like, you know, an enamel pan right now, but I don't have an enamel pan right now. I don't have an enamel saucepan, and I do not want to do all the fiddling around with double boilers, so like you could, but at the same time, like, this is cast aluminum, not cast iron, not stainless steel, so, but, do want just a little tiny bit more. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. Tiny scooch more. Okay. Okay. So let's see, I get to turn this thing off and move it over here into the sink, because that way it is not only not in danger of like, basically it's cat safe in the sink. Oh, that's right. We got these things. I'm actually kind of glad that I'm seeing clearly Canadian back in stores. Seriously, you can tell me a more efficient way to break up your goddamn baking chocolate, and I might try it, or I will continue to whack it against the side of the cooker as to, like, beat my frustrations in the world out of this. Let me take a look at the chats. I don't think I've done that since I've been streaming. So, okay, A.JH, watching from Royal Oak. Well, I'm glad to see you from Royal Oak. I'm expecting a call from my aunt in, she's in Livonia now, tomorrow. I'm expecting a call from her tomorrow. If she can't get through somehow, family friend is going to call while she's, you know, as in, like, niece's guardian, is going to call while she's there with my aunt. And I am hoping to meet up with my aunt for a birthday lunch on, well, my birthday. I'm going to Detroit. A friend of mine treated me to the $35 to take an Amtrak to Detroit. Hey, Shakers on! Burada Ashmai! Anthony Jr., yes, take us with your road trip. Oh, right, yeah, when I was going down into the basement of the house that my apartment is, like, built out of, and yeah, that's always fun. The you blouse. Oh yeah, I'm crocheting a blouse for Ethan Ba. So here's the front and back panels of the bodice. Right now, I still need to sew it up together, but I also realized just last night, like, why I managed to like lose a mesh on the second row up from the waistband while I was doing the sleeves yesterday. So I'm going to I'm not going to like sew it up like I did with the sweater that I made for my aunt. I'm going to basically do a I'm going to do my best to do this this little V-mesh pattern to connect it all the way up, you know, the sides and you know, to the sleeves as well. So here's the bodice part. So like, you know, like the front and back panels. So like front panel with the neckline, back panel to cover her shoulder blades, because Steve Dallas loves a woman with huge shoulder blades. And that's because everything I know about 1980s U.S. politics I got from Bloom County, the comic strip, which of course Berkeley Brothers had to revive when in 2016 because he's a wonderful man, wonderful, hilarious. So yeah, and it's gonna have like little puff sleeves. The pattern was from 1936, and so yeah, this is the first large project, large relatively speaking, but it's the first large project I've done with size 20 fine thread. I do a lot of stuff with size 10, which is considered like tablecloth bedspread weight, right? But yeah, this is the first thing I've done with a fine thread. At least something this big. But yeah, I did one sleeve last night, and I got a good start on one of them this morning, so that'll definitely be finished when Nathan and I meet up in about 7.5 days right now. Okay, and Michelle Gaetano says, I'm hoping I spelled that right. My cat has a squiggly silicone carrot and he loves it. His teeth have gotten cleaner since using. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, like those things are like something to give cats to like really get their teeth into is good for their plaque buildup. Yeah, like the same principle as with dogs. But yeah, I will be getting Nigel reacclimated to the harness and lead, because he's the cat who allegedly goes on a hunger strike if I'm gone for more than 2 nights, right? So if I'm going to spend 6 to 8 weeks bicycling through Wales next summer, I have to bring Nigel with me. Like, there's no 2 ways around that. Nigel has to come with me, or Nigel will probably gleefully starve himself until I return. And I don't want to take that risk, because I love him, even though he's creepy. He's seriously creepy. He likes to watch. Like, worst ex, when I was telling him about how Nigel likes to watch, oh, he thought it was hilarious. Until the first time Nigel decided he was going to watch when Worst and I were having our fun. And then Worst X says, oh my god, he's staring. I can feel him staring. I'm like, yeah, I can hear him purring now that you mention it. Do you want me to throw a blanket over his head? Like, he'll give us between 5 and 10 minutes of peace. We can probably finish in that time. And, you know, I don't know. Well, if you throw a blanket over his head, it's like I'm acknowledging him. I'm like, you're acknowledging him by talking about it right now. Like, do you want me to throw a blanket over his head? Because this is killing my mood. It's like... And it's like, maybe I don't, no, now my mood's gone. I'm like, yeah, and it's because, you know, you decided to acknowledge creepy cat being creepy. I told you about, like, I told him about this. Shit, I think I told him about that, like, you know, like the first week we were, you know, going together, right? It's like what? You've known about this the whole time, you weird man. Okay, chocolate is mixed so in a large bowl. So I'm going to assume it's this one. because I only have just so many mixing bowls, right? Okay. Like the recipe I copied this from this year says, you know, specifically said to use an electric mixer, and I'm like, do you have that little faith in the people on this reading this website? Like, so of course I didn't write that down because I'm not a dumbass. And plus, like, seriously? Get in the fucking hole. Is it not loose enough? There we go! Son of a bitch. There we go. I think that's the right way. I will assume it's the right way. Because I can either put it in this one facing out or facing in. And I'm not sure which the right way is, but I will assume it's this way because that's how I've got it in right now. I might want to plug this into the surge protector with extra plugs. If you love vintage appliances as much as I always have, you should have surge protectors on basically everything. Okay, I will take this shit out of the front. There we go. Bullshit me. Plus, I swear these things like don't actually do what landlord says they will. Which, like, they're supposed to like emit this like hypersonic frequency that will like deter various kinds of pests, including rodents. And I'm like, I don't see. Oh shit. My pen is running. I need to recopy this. Son of a bitch. This is like my coconut pecan frosting recipe that I've tweaked with it a lot since the first time I started using this specific recipe. So it's kind of become like my signature coconut pecan frosting that a lot of my friends really love. Like, you know, like this last, oh, going on 10 years, I've been back in the Ann Arbor area. I tend to just like bring cupcakes to the club on my birthday. This is my thing I do. This is what some people like claim they look forward to, like late July every year, right? At the club. Rowan comes in with cupcakes. With fresh homemade coconut pecan frosting. And sometimes the cake is a mix, sometimes it's made from scratch. It depends on his mood this year. So let's see. Okay, large bowl. Beat 1 cup butter with 2 cups sugar until light and fluffy. And I put that in dick quotes because I'm just like, really? You strange recipe writing person? Okay. Okay, so let's see. We've got... crap. Okay. So let's see. We've got this one. Okay, I'm gonna put my things. That goes with the ice cream churn, and I've got my freezer tape for my leftovers, and my little lemonade things. Okay, is this... Okay, this is probably soft enough, but I'm still gonna need a table knife. If you've got friends who call this a butter knife, or if you call it a butter knife, you are wrong. This is a table knife. Shit. This is a butter knife. See the difference? Now that's not to say a table knife can't be used for butter, but, like, in fact they often are. So, like, in a sense, they're in that sense they are a butter knife, but like in that sense, like you can use a utility knife to, like a kitchen utility knife to cut your steak, but that doesn't make it a steak knife, right? So, so like I understand that people have the right to be wrong, but for someone who is often quite loudly proletariat and uncultured, I still understand the difference. The difference matters to very few people. Okay. Beat 1 cup butter with 2 cups sugar until light and fluffy. Stir in 4 egg yolks, one at a time, beating well with each addition. Then beat in vanilla and chocolate until thoroughly blended. Okay, so okay. I just washed this fucking bowl and there's cat hair in it already. Welcome to life with cats. Like, people even saw me doing dishes, including this very mixing bowl, and there's already cat hair in it. Then again, I also posted to Instagram one time I had peanut butter on toast, and between spreading peanut butter on my toast in the kitchen and getting to my front room at the old apartment, cat hair had landed into my peanut butter. Because cat hair is magical. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, do I want to try going from fan to AC? Okay. Okay. I have switched from low fan to low AC. And I will keep an eye on the, on my router to, my router and the little standby red blinking light. It's not blinking. I don't know why it's blinking. So it's the standby light on my TV and the green light on my router. I will keep an eye on that to make sure everything in there stays on, because I don't know why, but like for some reason the ceiling fan and its adjuvant light was still on, but everything else had a fuse blown before we went on the road trip. Okay. Yeah, this could stand to be a little bit softer, but that's why I've got the Hamilton Beach. Which one is this? It's an E, which I believe was from the 30s. Okay. I'll fuck around with that later. I need to do some laundry tonight, because tomorrow is Fart Air. The Ann Arbor Fart Air. Darkly tailored. Milstead. I'm assuming Spanish, possibly Portuguese. I know it enough. I know like just barely enough Spanish to get through Los Angeles for a couple days. I'm assuming that means so I know that that's asking how I'm doing. Could be better. I've definitely been worse. Alright, it's saying 5 people in chat, yet only 1 of you strange folk have hit the like button. According to Xander Hall, that is good for the algorithms or whatever. Something, I think. I'm gonna trust him. This is his job. I can beg to differ with him, like, on some of the finer points when he's talking political stuff. But I get the impression that as much as everybody thinks he's cringy, I get the impression that he does mean well, and all that. Ah, shit. Okay, so this year I am making my German chocolate, or more correctly, German's chocolate, as in possessive, with stevia in the raw, because my sister mama, is 86 or 87 years old. She is a type 2 diabetic. I forget for how long. But it's good that, you know, she does like her little treats. Like me, she's like one of few people she knows who loves the black jelly beans. I think I mentioned this last year, right? Because I found at Walgreens, Bratch's, you know, the jelly bean people, they're now doing bags of all black, and which I love. I love that they're now doing bags of all black. My mixer did get a little bit of damage in the move, but it's more, like there's a pin here that fell out on the base, and okay, now that looks light and fluffy enough to myself. Okay, alright, I need a couple of bowls for, doing things. Okay, you know what? I think it does have to face, I think the, this thing here does face outward. I can't find all of my gelatin cookbooks and manuals for my vintage appliances. That doesn't mean they're not, I don't still have them, because there are still some boxes I have yet to unpack from the move that gave me PTSD. I am not exaggerating, that's what my therapist has told me. Where was I going? But, yeah, there are still some boxes that have yet to be unpacked. I'm hoping they're in one of them. That would be good. I would appreciate that. Because my gelatin cookbooks especially, the oldest one I have was published in 1917. Like, this was when, like, when the refrigerator was basically new. The electric refrigerator was basically new, right? This was something that, you know, so like gelatins at the time, like even in the days of ice boxes, right? Like this was something that, like if you were to serve like this was a rich thing. That gelatins were like a rich people thing for, you know, the early 20th century, because it meant that you had an ice box that you could dedicate to you know, to putting this dessert like in a section so it will have enough time and space to set correctly, right? So yeah, like gelatins and aspics, they were rich people food for, like I said, I want to say like the first 3 decades of the 20th century. And then like the electric refrigerator, like they say in cities, the electric fridge had basically replaced the icebox in all major U.S. cities by the end of the 20s. So by 1930, like ice boxes were getting a bit more scarce. Ice boxes were eventually replaced by the refrigerator in rural areas by the mid-1950s, right? Like there's even an episode of Lassie that revolves around Lassie being suspicious of the new refrigerator that has replaced, like, Timmy's family's icebox, right? There's an episode of Lassie about this. So yeah, like, they were still fairly common in rural areas in the mid-50s, but, like, by the end of the 50s, they basically replaced, the electric fridge basically replaced the icebox, with, you know, like, yeah, there were some backwoods, you know, people in, you know, Appalachia and the Ozarks, where they didn't have, like, reliable electricity until, like, at least the 70s. There's a few families that, you know, are still kind of living like that in, like, insane poverty. in those areas. You can find like, and yeah, one of them is like infamously very inbred. I think that's one of the Appalachian families that I'm thinking of. But yeah, where was I going with this? Right, yeah, like my gelatin cookbooks. Like, I love my gelatin cookbooks. I love gelatins. I do. I understand it is weird to many people, but there's something about the gelatin, like especially like, you know, like those gelatin-filled desserts. There is an art to making them. You look up some of those. Those take so long to arrange. I have seen in gelatin cookbooks stuff where like people have like, you know, like have these little like pipe, you know, these molds with the pipe sides, you know, they're a little bit longer and like wider than this one. It's like the pipe sides where like, you know, in every piped, you know, segment there's a hot dog like standing upright in the gelatin, like encased in the gelatin. Do you have any idea how long that shit takes? Like, this is an art. People want to knock the gelatins filled with things. It's an art form. It really is a culinary art form. It takes like the better part. It takes the better part of a day to construct one of those things. Like, so still, like, you know, like, don't knock gelatin desserts. Like, yes, there is indeed a lazy way to do, like, a fruit-filled gelatin. Okay, fine. You can do an unfilled gelatin in various fruit flavors, thanks to the Jell-O company. Also, like, sure, whatever. But, like, those wonderful kitschy things from the 50s and 60s, those are gorgeous. I absolutely love them. They're artistic. They're artistic, like, to the core. They're beautiful things to behold. I love them so much. So yeah, like, I am hoping to whatever deities have helped keep me alive this far, that I still have at least some of my precious gelatin cookbooks, because those took the better part of 20 years to collect, and some of them were actually very expensive, like, relatively speaking, like compared to other bits of my, you know, glorious antique collection. I would say, like, proportionate to, like, how much it went for when it was new, like how much it sold for when it was new and all that, versus how much it's selling for, like, the markup between, you know, when it was printed and when I bought it, insane. Like, my antique floor lamps that I lost, adjusting for inflation, not a huge difference in price between, you know, like, when it was made in 1930 to 1947, I think was the newest one I had of those. Like, the difference in price when you adjust for inflation, not huge. In fact, I probably paid less for at least one of them. My gelatin cookbooks, like when you adjust for inflation, you know, and all of that, it's insane. Like, my gelatin cookbooks are, and I love them. I love them so much because I'm a strange person who loves gelatins. Okay, 4 egg yolks, one at a time, beating until well with each addition. Okay, so, right, I was separating eggs. I know I should be a bit more on the nose about this right now, but... Okay, there we go. Okay. We've got a... Ah ha ha! Nope. Alright. Okay. Ah ha ha ha. Okay. So let's see. We've got 1 egg yolk. Okay. And egg yolk number 2. Oh. Whoop, whoop. Stay with me, egg white. Oh, oh, don't break the yolk. I want to say that sounds like one of those, like, children's... Was that a children's party game? Like one of those things like Twister or something that came in a box? And... Or no, maybe not like Twister, but like more like Mousetrap or something where... Or the Cootie Bug thing. I don't know. Was that a children's game? Don't break the yolk? Or is my brain just making shit up again? Is there some kind of Mandela effect for this? There we go. Alright, I kind of squiddled the pin back a little bit better in there. Okay. Okay. Three egg yolks. I had a little cross-stitch thing that one of my aunts made of Confound Count from Sesame Street. And this was like up in my bedroom wall for years when I was a kid. Ah! Shit. No, don't break the yolk. Whoa. The shell does not want to come apart. What? Oh, come on, egg white. There we go. I need to position the camera better because this looks kind of gross. And I know there's a pot holder in front here. Get down there. Oh my gosh, it looks like a booger. There we go. I mean, I think they are both predominantly proteins, so this might not be too far off. Get out of here, pot holder. Yes, I know I crocheted your edging myself, but... We've got a strange cooking show. Okay. I think that's beaten well. Oh, it is quite fluffy. Okay. Okay, yep. Four eggs separated. Now I will use the whites in a bit. And then I'm going to use whole eggs for the frosting. Which I think I did in a previous live stream a few years ago, but oh well. Yeah, get down there, fucking egg booger. Ew. Okay. You know what? Hold on, because I have figured out the pin here. Okay, there we go. Okay, it is. Okay, now it's flat to the thing. Hopefully this will jiggle a lot less now. Okay. Next step. Okay. Beating well with heated. Okay, beat in vanilla and chocolate until thoroughly blended. So, where did I put down my goddamn... There's my vanilla extract. Okay. So, So, because contrary to what dipshit roommate wants to believe, I do not enjoy being a messy person. I understand that, yes, with ADHD, sometimes it just comes with it, right? And I have my own way of working with my brain to at least keep things within a sense of order that I understand and can deal with. So, you're probably familiar with these things. These are best for dry measure. On the other hand, when you want to do a liquid measure, you get yourself one of these. Because I'm sure we've all been like, very steadily trying to like, don't spill, don't spill, don't spill. This takes care of that. It is, yes, one more thing you gotta wash probably, but you'll thank me later. Okay, I'm gonna put these eggs back in the fridge until it's time to do the thing with the stuff. The frosting. So, okay, how much vanilla did this recipe want? This wanted 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay. I'll go recycling with you. Okay. McCormick pure vanilla extract. I don't know why I just said that as the count. And this little waxed paper and foil jobby that's not really recyclable. That can, it's on the floor right now, and I'm going to sweep up after I'm done with this shit. So, okay, wait. Said, you say 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon? It says 1 teaspoon. I just kind of eyeball it with vanilla a lot, and I can never remember, like, grams to teaspoon, so I don't see the need for getting out the, for putting this on the scale. It's probably closer to 1.5, but whatever. If you ask me, there's no such thing as too much. Well, okay, there is a point where it does become too much vanilla, but when you're making a cake, that's going to be like the least of your worries. Like, it's going to take a lot of time before you get to too much vanilla in your cake. Like, it's easier to have too much flour. Ruin your cast iron. That's not falling down from the edge, so there we go. So let's see. Okay. Scrape this off here. And first I'm going to rinse my wooden spoon. And then I'm going to set it in the empty sink. And there we go. Now I don't have to worry about it growing bugs or mold. I don't know bugs. I don't have to worry about it like growing mildew or anything soaking. There we go. That's how you do it. Don't give me any kind of weird look for that, because going in the oven is going to kill it, and a 350 Fahrenheit oven will kill any of my turkey, right? So I will wash my hands again instead, because realized that I did since I took those out. But like I said, the cake started going in the oven, and that will kill my germs. Okay. Oh, that looks good. So I do think I'm gonna scrape the sides a bit. There we go. So there's a calzone place around the corner and down a couple blocks from here. And a couple nights back, I had some leftover Grubhub gift cards, so I went and ordered one of those because I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was like, well, let's see. I am back down because I did put on a couple more pounds about a week or so ago, and I know why it happened. So yeah. But yeah, I am back down to where I was at a couple of weeks ago. So I was just like, well, let's see. I'm feeling really sorry for myself. I have some leftover gift card, and I don't have to eat the whole thing tonight. Now, to be fair, I did end up eating the whole thing that night, but like I ate half and half, like I ate two halves about 4 hours apart, right? And I was feeling genuinely hungry each time. Like, I did all the things like, like try water first, because sometimes, especially if you've gotten used to overeating, you may mistake thirst for hunger, etc., right? So, but still, it's like, so I went to go pick it up, so because I was also thinking, well, let's see, if I choose pickup over delivery, first off, I don't have to tip a delivery guy. Secondly, I am getting some exercise from this, so... there was worse ways I could have, like, justified, a calzone, right? And, I've maintained, right? So it's like, I didn't put back on the 2 pounds from that because, even though I haven't been at the gym in a couple of weeks, though that's largely been for, twofold, mental health and also, like, ending up in a crochet zone working on my niece's blouse that I'm making. So, niece's blouse, perfectly fine reason. Mental health, again, it's like, I can understand this, though at the same time, like, exercise can get the endorphins and the dopamine going, so, like, it might have been better for my mental health to go to the gym rather than sit back and be lazy, but, and crochet my sorrows away, but it's like I said, I haven't, like, immediately put back on 2 pounds. In fact, like I've gotten back down from where I was like a week or so ago. So so yeah, where was I going? Right. So I got the calzone, and I got there early in my walk, and a couple of other very drunk people came by. I wasn't very drunk, but a couple other people. These two were very drunk. They came by to pick up their own calzones. Also a little bit on the early side. I'm listening to the Stranglers via Tidal on my phone. And one of the dudes says, "Oh man, I know the sound of that organ anywhere. You're rocking out to the Doors, right?" And I say, "No, it's the Stranglers. For starters, they're British and their singer sounds nothing like Jim Morrison. I forget who the singer was on that album, but they've had a couple. But yeah, I'm like, God damn, like, just." You could tell, like, he's saying this in a way that he's hoping will impress, and and he blew it. Like, where was I saying? I brought it up for some reason besides that, I think. I don't know. If it was entertaining enough, I'll remember it later. Okay, so let's see. Until blended. Sift flour, baking soda. Okay, now I gotta get my sifter. Of course, it's not there. That might make some kind of sense. Because that is approximately where I kept it at the last place. So let's see. Electric pan, waffle iron, juicer attachment. I'm actually really impressed with how well this is holding up with that food grade silicone glue that I got. Because I don't want to have to replace this again. The juicer set for my mixer here alone, like, cost me about $40, which, like I said, adjusting for inflation, like, versus like the list price when this came out, they're actually pretty close, right? They're pretty close. I think this actually ended up costing less, versus the, brand new price when it was first out. So I really don't want to have to replace this again. So yeah, like, this arrived broken. Like, it was, like, yeah, it was well packed, but somehow it ended up broken, versus this one. So something went wrong with the way that the person packed it. Unfortunately, I didn't open it up until, like, long after, like, eBay archived that sale, so I couldn't even bitch about how the thing was broken when I opened it. Especially since it was so long after, when I finally opened it, that it was just like, okay, like, nobody's gonna believe me because, or, like, nobody involved in this transaction is gonna, on their end of it, is gonna believe that it took me this long to open it due to mental health reasons. But, so I'd rather try to see if I could repair this with a food grade silicone glue, and I looked up what, were considered food safe. Oh yeah, there's not even a smell to this like there is with other silicone glues after they set. So I am hoping, you might have seen me gluing this together at one of my last radio show streams, which I know it's been a few weeks since I've done one, but like I said, part of it is like the depression, part of it is crochet zone for Nathan Va. So yeah, like I said, I hope this will hold when I go to use it as a juicer soon. Okay, where did I put my sifter? I have it. I know it came with me. I've seen it. I've seen it very recently. Stay. Oh, right here. Some people think that, okay, so, let's see. Sift flour, baking soda, and salt into separate bowl. Beat flour into the wet mixture gradually and alternate with adding buttermilk through 3 to 4 additions. Okay, this wants 1 cup of buttermilk, and because the floor in here isn't especially level, I'm gonna... So this is a pint of buttermilk, the proletariat buttermilk, which, like I said, it says it blends with eggs more easily, and I don't know how they meant that, so I just decided to go with the uncultured buttermilk. All right, 8 ounces even. Sweet. The recipe didn't say cultured or uncultured buttermilk, which is why I looked up the difference between the two. And here's the separate bowl with which I shall... Now that's a bit warm. I'm going to put this here on top of... No, I'm going to put this here next to the saucepan that had chocolate in it, because I'm afraid that if I put the egg whites here, even though I've got a pan cover, it's still warm enough to touch this long after I boiled water and mixed with le chocolat. So yeah, I don't want to risk that. It's going to cook the eggs and, you know, the egg whites and make them unusable for this. So, okay, where was that spoon I just had? I had a spoon. I was using it for the thing with the stuff. Did I... Okay, now where the hell did I put the stevia? Did I put... Oh. Okay. Did I put the spoon in here? No. Though that would make some kind of sense, looking at how lost it's become. Okay, fuck it. I'll just dirty up another spoon. Show this thing. Okay. Alright, how much? Okay, so let's see. Okay, 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons. Okay, I just wanted how much flour? Okay, 2 cups sugar. 2.5 cups AP. So. Oh! The spoon was in the... The spoon was in the measuring cup. Okay. It says tablespoon, right? Okay, yes. Tablespoon. So get this big thing. Okay, yep, the engraving is still legible. Sweet. Okay, seems the AC is still on, and I can turn it up a little bit. And I turn up the cool just a little bit more. We don't say turn on the lights, we say turn up the dark. So why am I doing this by volume and not by weight? I don't know. Okay. One cup. Two cup. 2.5 cup, and then 2, 4, 5. Okay, so we want 5 tablespoon extra. Okay. Oh, cocaine party. Cocaine party. Oh. Okay. Baking soda and salt. How much is baking soda this should want? Okay. 1 teaspoon baking soda. So we gotta get more things out. 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon. Where's the rest of them? Okay. The drawer where I keep my utensils had the track fall out from under it about a week ago. That's what I'm doing down here. Then the first. Did dipshit put him in here? Well, if so, I can't find it. Okay, this is pissing me off. There was an 1/8 teaspoon and a whole teaspoon and a 1/2 tablespoon with this set when I got it. Okay. 2 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda. Right, baking soda.
salt.
Okay, half teaspoon of salt. Okay. And let's see. I get to sift this all together and then beat gradually into the wet bowl. And alternate with additions of buttermilk. Cocaine party, cocaine party. Oh dear. We can see the flower mouth growing in the bowl. Cocaine party, just like in The Crow. Cocaine party. It took me like 3 years to realize that was supposed to be a mountain of cocaine in that movie. You know the scene I'm talking about if you've seen, you know, the one, you know, the first Crow movie with Brandon Lee. You know the scene I'm talking about. It took me I think that movie came out when I was like 13 or something, and so like I was 16 before it finally dawned on me that this was a mountain of cocaine, right? Like, I don't know what I thought it was before that. Cocaine party! Like, yeah, I know it's, like, far more involved than making it from a mix. Like, I could have been, like, done with this and the, and at least halfway done with the coconut pecan frosting by now if I just got in a mix, but no. Like, for some reason, the family friend who's been, my niece's guardian since about 1.5 years before my that sister of mine died, somehow talked me out of saving a cupcake for my niece last year, but not this year, damn it. And like, yeah, I know that like this is not the half sister that I share a mother with, so it's like, it might confuse her at first, because I don't think my, that sister told her about how she and I don't think my sister told my niece, before my sister passed away. In fact, I know she didn't. She specifically said to me one time that she didn't yet, that she was going to wait until my niece was a little older to explain that part about our family. But I'm just like, I was like, no, your mommy and I had the same father, who is not, you know, Pop, who passed away. That was that was my sister Mama's 5th husband. She was older than 4 out of the 5 of the men she was married to, and except for the last one, she divorced. Like, she was the one who filed for divorce on her first 4 marriages. And yeah, when her last husband passed, it was a heart attack, right? sure that this isn't in properly. But because I'm a dumbass, I'm not going to fix it right away. Because I'm in the middle of fixing shit. And like they say, like, cooking is an art, but baking is a science, and I know that, like, oversimplifies the difference between the two, but it's also kind of true. One of the stupider Reddit arguments that I got into fairly recently was I went to it was on Ask Reddit, and I was just bored, so I said, okay, is lasagna a pie or a casserole? And then like one dumbass said, well, it's a cake, because it's got a bread, and it is filled and topped with stuff. And I'm like, dude, cake is not bread. And most people agreed with me because, well, for starters, bread is made from dough, and cake is made from batter. And yes, there are things called quick bread, like muffins and shit, which are made from a batter, but it's also like think of what the hell sweet breads are. It's an organ meat. You know, at least that's, you know, like, that's a regional, that's definitely a regional term in England for, shit. I forget which organ, but it's an organ meat, and it's called sweet breads. So it's like, clearly not everything that is referred to as a bread is a bread. And, like, the foundation of making both cake and bread are so wildly different from each other that that, like, yes, pastas are arguably in the bread group, you know, or at least they share more in common with the bread group than they do with the cake group, because, you know, they are made from the dough. But, like, no, cake is not bread. And if you're one of those dipshits who wants to explain otherwise and trying to argue with me about it, you're wrong. I don't think any such people are on there right now. But just in case you are, you've been warned. Facts in a minute. Oh, you know, within the minute after I finish this part. I am in the batter zone. In the batter zone. was a bit much. Wiping the spatula on the little thing sticking out in front. Did I most recently do flour? I think I did flour. Let's say flour. Alright. Oh yeah, it was flour. Kind of sure this last time, but this recent round was. There's still some in there. Okay. The AC has been out on the flip the circuit down the basement of the house. So my elderly disabled ass, no, elder goth disabled ass, because I qualify on account of disability. I've applied for HUD housing. On the good side, it's still technically in the downtown MC area, less than a mile from the downtown hub. But there is that bus that stops out there right in front, because most residents are the elderly. But yeah. I've been told there could be an opening as soon as 3 weeks, arguably no more than, probably no more than 6, so that's what's going on with this month. That's what has me stressed out. Well, a major thing anyway. Especially because I was born in Ohio and I had to provide my birth certificate for this apartment, so because it's disabled, so. Oh, okay, that's not gonna clear with my doctor, but for age verification they want the birth certificate, but it's HUD housing. I forget what the acronym is for, but I know it's got nothing to do with the Paul Newman movie. It's Paul Newman. Is Paul Newman the guy from Cool Hand Luke? Speaking of Cool Hand Luke, because that movie has been sampled in at least 2 Guns N' Roses songs. You gotta love Axl Rose, you really do. So, okay. First off, the most recent Guns N' Roses album, Chinese Democracy. this started out as, like, that album title started out as kind of a joke. Like, I remember, like, after the Spaghetti Incident album was out, that was, like, 92, I believe, 92 or 93. It had the, like, you know, punk and photo punk covers album. And then, like, the band, like, quickly, basically became Axl Rose and whatever. And so then, like, a couple years after that, you know, like, a bunch of people in the music press were saying that it looks like the next, oh wait, no, it was one journalist in particular who got reprinted, and who got reprinted a couple times. It says, like, the next Guns N' Roses album is gonna come out when there's a Chinese democracy. And, and so, like, it became an urban legend. You know, it went to urban legend status that this was going to be the name of the next Guns N' Roses album if it ever comes out. And so, like, when he got around to deciding, okay, I'm finally going to do a new album with, like, a whole new band lineup, and the album name title is going to be Chinese Democracy, because this is what people have been talking about, have been calling it for years, so why the hell not? I will cave into the trolling. Why? It's funny. Or something like that. But you gotta love it. Like, it's kind of like that, a snakes on the plane thing, right? Where, like, the script was going around Usenet for years as, like, this hilariously bad thing from a movie studio slush pile. You know, that had been submitted to a few different studios, of course. And then, snakes on a plane, it, like, reached such quasi-legendary status on the internet, like, you know, and this was like the early days of, like, what would become known as social media, right? So, it kind of gained this legendary status to the point that, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson was actually, like, one of the people behind getting it produced, because Usenet people were like, oh my god, I can see Samuel L. Jackson in this, especially, like, you know, if it included, like, the line, I will get some motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane, right? Which did end up in the movie. And so, so yeah, like, this was, like, you know, like, what is it? It was, like, kind of like this, the album title was already at this legendary snakes on a plane-esque, you know, status. You know, to the point where he decided he just kind of had to at that point. He's like, fuck it. Fuck it. The title itself is already legendary. Might as well roll with it. And then, of course, when Live, the GNR Live, which is like half their early Uzi Suicide EP, and the other half was just a bunch of acoustic songs that they did. He specifically took off 1 in a Million. Like, he requested 1 in a Million be removed from all future reprints of GNR Live. So, like, my copy right now, which is, like, you know, VG plus completion, original, like, first run printing, that is now, like, high collectible status, right? Because, you know, it has been reissued on LP since then. So, so yeah, like, I'm one of the dipshits who, you know, has owned it. Probably not, you know, not from the first out, but, like, that's one of my records that I've had, like, since high school, right? And the reason Axl Rose took off 1 in a Million, because, well, you know, look it up on, I think it might be on YouTube or something, or, you know, if you use, PPP, file sharing, you can definitely find it there. If you're on Soul Seek, I'm Spooky Pants. I think it's Spooky Pants. It's either Spooky Pants or Mixed Spooky Pants. Or possibly DJ Spooky Pants. But yeah, I've got it online if you're on Soul Seek at all. But yeah, like, he pretty much, like, basically admitted, you know, like, in more recent interviews that, like, you know, hey, yeah, I removed it because, this reflects who I was when I was 17, and thinking this would just be hilarious and edgy, because it was 1989, and we didn't give a shit. And that was, like, kind of our brand, was, like, we were the punk band that, you classic bluesy style hard rock, right? That's, like, that is the origins of Guns N' Roses. Like, Axl auditioned for, like, several punk bands when he first moved to LA, and, like, enough of them said that he sounded too much like Robert Plant. They're like, no, we're not trying to do that, like, active rock, 70s sound. No, man, you gotta go find your niche. This is not for us. But yeah, like, Guns N' Roses at their heart is a punk band. Like, this is something I've kind of always said. I've had people argue with me about this, even though eventually most of them come to agree that, like, like, think about it. Like, they are. At their heart, they're a punk band. Not quite the way that Tom Petty has gained punk cred, especially post-mortem, which kind of mystifies me, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense, too. But, where's I going to? Right, yeah. So he's just like, when I wrote that, I was like 17, 18, just got off the bus here in LA, and, I thought it was funny, even though, like, I'm not the kind of bigot who would say those things unironically, but, as I'm older now, I realize how bad this looks, that, like, what was funny to me at, like, 17, 18 years old doesn't really have the staying power I thought it would, so this no longer reflects, like, what I think is funny anymore. So, like, let the collector fans, like, keep the old version of the record, that's fine, I don't want them burned or anything, because it is who I was then, but I don't want to make money off that now. And I'm just like, that is so freaking cool. Because, like, think about it. Like, just people, like you get these, like, conservative types who, are a little bit more flashy than they think they are, because from where they're saying it, it's like, oh man, I'm just trying to be funny. But it's like he couldn't bank on that song alone. But, like, you realize, it wouldn't get him, like, if you kept it on there, it wouldn't get him the kind of attention he wanted, because, it doesn't really reflect who he was, because it's never anything he thought unironically, and trust me, if you look up that song and listen to it, you will see why he removed it from the Guns N' Roses streaming call, right? So yeah. You gotta love Axl Rose, especially the way he will, like, lay into, like, so many, like, Republican senators on Twitter. Oh my god, he's wonderful. So, like, yeah, I used to get shit from people who were just like, oh, well, you said some, like, kinda homophobic things here. I'm like, well, okay, to, like, take into context. Like, there was, like, what, like, 23 in 1991? I'm probably, like, way off, like, the age and your first comments there. I'm not that much of an Axl Rose fan, but I am enough that it's like, I've always liked it, because, like, it's a Midwest thing. Like, he's originally from, like, the Joliet area of Indiana, and, which isn't too far removed culturally from, a mix of the Midwest places where I grew up, like, both Metro Detroit and rural Michigan. So it's like, yeah, like, it's a Midwest thing. Like, I understand, like, I can figure out what the hell he meant when he was saying stuff that, people, like, later in retrospect, was like, well, that's kind of what I'm like, well, without history, like, first off, like, this was a dude who was, like, just barely getting his bipolar disorder under control. He's been very open about that. Like, he was just barely starting to get his bipolar disorder under control when he was in those interviews. So, like, you gotta understand that, and then you gotta understand, like, the Midwest in the early 90s, even though he was, like, far removed from the Midwest, goes, like, in distance in years, when you grow up with that kind of, that kind of thought process, and you're already kind of known for having less of a filter than some other musicians in your position and stuff, you just kind of roll with it at some point. You just learn to roll with it, right? So it's like, I I took it as he intended it, which was not as bad as some people have since taken it. As you know, and of course, like some people even back then would have taken it, I'm sure. But at the same time, it's like I've always stood up for Axl Rose because, like I said, like I've been a big Guns N' Roses fan since since early 1992, and the Freddie Mercury tribute concert when it was later broadcast on TV in early '92, because it was done like it was either done very late '91 or much earlier in '92. But I know it was like later in '92 it was broadcast on TV, and that's when I saw Guns N' Roses like for the first time, like, you know, listening to their music, hearing them play live. So yeah, I've been a Guns N' Roses fan like most of my life. Like I get where he's coming from, reading old interviews with him and all that. So it's like I understand, like, he didn't have ill intent when he was saying certain things then, and I understand that, you know, this was just like teenage edgy humor when he wrote One in a Million. So I'm just like, but like I said, like I feel like I've finally been vindicated in standing up for Guns N' Roses for like the last 25 years of my life, especially as a music fan, especially as, you know, a music fan who is, you know, who is gay and and very, you know, far anarcho left wing, and so I'm just like, I get where he's coming from. I always got where he was coming from, and friends of mine who did not, especially those who didn't grow up in the Midwest, like they would razz me for standing up for Axl Rose, or sometimes just like really come down harsh on me for it. And now I feel vindicated. I'm like, you're seeing his Twitter now, and I've been telling you this for years. Like, like, and you're still like, you know, when you were still like going off on like some little, you know, off the cuff thing he said in an interview back in '92 or whatever, and it's like no, like you're just now coming to arriving at the party, and okay, in metal or glass bowl. Okay, they're in glass bowl. Beat the reserved egg whites until they hold stiff peaks. Gently folded beaten egg whites into batter. Careful to keep as much volume as possible. So, let's see. I'm going to do that with my egg beater. And I could probably, you know what? I'm going to move them into here because I'm going to move them into this bowl that I had the flour and shit in, because I don't want, like, egg snot flying out at me. Why did I get out 2 bowls? Okay, after I'm done with the eggs, I'm going to check the chats. Oh, yay! 6 in chat and 9 big fat likes. Now, the whole stiff peaks thing, like, if I were to add sugar into this, it would be like meringue mix, but I'm not going to do that because there's enough in there. Speaking of, let me. Oh God, that's wonderful. Can't believe the goddamn recipe I copied this from said to use sweetened baker's chocolate. I'm like, no, it's got plenty enough sugar in it. Okay. Damn. Okay. Oh, dear God. Seriously? It's like... Wait. Oh, never mind. That's the temp. For some reason, I thought it was saying it was like almost 4. Or almost 5. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I get to lift this thing off, and I get to ripen the beaters. Yeah, or I could make this slight... Ah, that's hot. Stupid antique appliance getting hot on me. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Yeah, this thing... I said I want to say the E model that I've got was first released in the mid-30s. So yeah, this thing is like going on 90 years old. Whoa! Okay, yeah, that was not in there tight enough. That's why. That's the other reason it was jiggling so much in the thing. I might have to clean something out of there. Okay. If anybody wants to help me with editing down the recipe part of this stream at a later time, I would greatly appreciate it. I don't know how much I can pay you for this at this moment, but we can certainly work something out. If not, then we gotta wait until I do it myself, which, as we all have seen, leave me to my own devices. I can barely keep a weekly schedule for various crap and stuff, so... Okay, that goes into yay, and I can put that... No. Okay, so let's see. Oh. There we go. Oh yeah. This might be a little bit more fluffy than the person on all recipes had in mind, but so let's see the fold. Okay. Whoa, there's some that is very liquidy at the bottom. I might need to, might want to rebeat some of that. I now realize I said that I would read the chats after I finished beating the eggs, or maybe after I finished with the batter before the egg whites, but I got in the zone. So, I mean, technically, it will still be after this. It will still be after I've, you know, whipped the egg whites and all of that, so... Technically correct is the best kind of correct. Yep. I don't know why I focused the camera on the bowl, but I don't really have a whole lot to say right now. So I figured this is probably a little bit more exciting than watching my face as I'm doing it. Much like that that stream I did last year when I was spray dyeing my the rainbow denim jacket for my niece. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna bring the egg beater back around for the solidified, liquefied. Oh, I'm starting to feel the AC coming in from the front room. Let me just see if turning it up just a scooch. Okay. I feel for whatever poor schlub dipshit roommate talked into this shit, but Okay. Okay, I think that's about as much as this is gonna get. Okay. So, where did I spoons in the mega cup? Okay. Oh, there we go. Last of this. Okay. Aw, we're down to 2 more people who want to watch cake. But just like watching humans get conceived, watching cake be conceived is a lot less fulfilling than the aftermath of the conception. You know, or at least watching somebody else do it. Okay. So. Okay, now for the exciting part, in a second anyway, because I'm gonna move this to the sink and take a look at the chats I said I would. Okay. Okay. HJ says they got me. Jasmine Macia says, I agree, totally want to tackle gelatin cakes. Oh, yeah, when I was going on about, like, how it's really an art. Yeah, there... have I seen Pulp Fiction? I have seen Pulp Fiction. Quentin Tarantino, aside from the fact that his first name is my middle name, is one of those directors who I kind of feel like I should like more than I do. Shit, there's a couple people like that. Like, for the longest time, that was my opinion of Joy Division. That's like, I feel like I should like this band more than I do. But then, I don't know, it was something like 10 years ago, I finally got it. Like, something finally clicked, and I got Joy Division. So, like, that's no longer how I feel about Joy Division anymore, but yeah, like, for the longest time, Joy Division was one of those bands where I feel like I should like them more than I do. And then when I was in my early to mid 30s, something finally clicked, and I got Joy Division. Quentin Tarantino is like that for me as well, except, like, I still don't really get it. He's very good at what he does. He's obviously, like, a huge fan of the quote-unquote, like, low-budget, trashy, you know, like, trash core, like, exploitation films of the late 60s through 70s. And I appreciate what he does. He definitely has the passion to really do it well. But at the same time, I kind of don't get it, right? Like, there's something that I just haven't gotten yet. And I can't quite put my finger on why. It's like, I feel like I should like him more than I do. So yeah, like, Pulp Fiction is a good movie for what it is. Somebody pointed out that, that if you think of, like, Kill Bill, because Uma Thurman's character in Pulp Fiction refers to having been a movie star in, like, you know, those kind of exploitation films, and somebody once said that if you watch the Kill Bill movies as the as being the movie's Uma Thurman's character in Pulp Fiction had referred to having starred in during the 1970s, it makes Kill Bill a lot more entertaining and kind of gives some insight into Thurman's character in Pulp Fiction. Unfortunately, I have yet to see Kill Bill, and it's been forever and a half since I've seen Pulp Fiction, so... Now, ideally for cupcakes, you want the papers about halfway full, between half and 2/3. And I figured out that for your average, like regular size cupcake pan, a table setting teaspoon, which is completely different volume of measurement than the cooking and baking teaspoon. About 2 of these is about what you want for a good sized cupcake. Maybe 2 on the more heaping side, so like if you're being a little stingy, maybe 2.5. Excuse me. Oh, I'm dripping batter. This one is very underfilled. Okay, and there we go. I forgot to look up how to adjust baking time for cupcakes versus 9-inch layers. Damn it. I'm gonna set the timer for about 25, and then check on them in 5-minute intervals. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, let's see. It is now about 2:15. My back really hurts, and honestly, it is so fucking hot in here right now that I would honestly rather make the frosting tomorrow after fart air busting. So we're gonna go with that plan. So if you've made it this far into the stream, whether you're watching live or in archive, feel free to tune in tomorrow when I do the coconut pecan frosting that I do so well. Cause yeah, I'm done for the night as far as like kitchen shit goes. I'm probably going to wash some dishes before I go to bed, but that's about it. Like right now, I need to sit. I need to kind of veg for a minute, like while the things are cooking for the next 25 minutes, because then it's gonna just be like I'm gonna be like doing cupcakes all night at this point. And nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch Fat Boy sitting around in the, where the hell did I put my, where's my goddamn pineapple soda I brought home? Like, I don't know. It is. Do you have that as pineapple soda? Oh, that's crochet thread. That's, oh. Okay, so my niece, she's just like the sweetest, like most grateful little kid. Like she's like truly thankful whenever like she is. What the hell? I think there's a moth in here. I felt something tap the back of my head. But yeah, she's just like the most grateful little kid whenever like she's indulged with presents, and that is definitely going to be the case to her from me this year. So I went a little bit overboard. I got a thing of little funky Japanese candies in a panda, and the panda has like a string, so like you can carry it as a funky little purse, but it's also got a slot in the top, so you can use it as like a coin bank. And I can't figure out how the hell to get this open and get the things out. Not that I'm going to eat one, because these are from my niece. This has perplexed me. Maybe she'll be able to figure. Oh wait, is that it? Did I? Aha! Okay, sweet. Oh, it's got a thing on the top too, so sweet, even better. Okay. So yeah, like. I don't know why. I was at Kroger. It was food stamps day. This, for some reason, counts. And I was just like, this is adorable. My niece is probably just going to think it's cute. And I got her, like, 2 craft kits. One is for a little felt unicorn mobile that also like teaches like very basic sewing principles as well. And I got her this little like crystal grow kit, so like you drop the unicorn head in whatever it is that crystals are supposed to grow from, and when it finally crystallizes, you get to paint it with these little like gel-based paints. And I'm just like, she's gonna love this. She's gonna love this, and the blouse I'm making, and the other kit that I got her, and the book I'm getting her, which I saw it at Target a couple days ago, so I'm gonna go back between now and this coming not the 21st, but the 28th. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go in there. There were a couple copies. Hopefully it's still there. If not, I'll find something else that's like just as suitable. But yeah, I'm she's not spoiled. She's just very much indulged. And I would say the difference between the two is a kid who is indulged is just like so happy and thankful and and all of that, and whereas a kid who's spoiled just kind of expects it, and kind of takes it for granted. So oh, and we've got another person back in chat, and but no, I am pooped. I am pooped. I'm not really looking forward to filling up the fucking cupcake trays the rest of the night, but that is the rest of my night, as of right now. So, what the hell do I usually say at the end of this? I don't even remember anymore. If you were at least somewhat entertained, feel free to hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe as well if you haven't already. If you wish to indulge me for my birthday, I've got a wish list in the description box below this video thing if you're watching from the website or whatever. And then what happens? I don't know right now. Something does. I know something happens. Oh, right. And if you have more dollars than cents, I am on Patreon. There's a PayPal tip jar, all that happy horse shit. Other than that, take good care of yourselves and have exactly the kind of day you deserve. Bats and kisses, nosta achwil.